my students create movies about propaganda. With Photostory, whenever I have my kids work on this, I introduce them to my website. Again, I have a area just set aside for propaganda and Photostory. Right at top, I have a little file that they can access that I made up that pretty much has simple step-by-step tutorial to work with Photostory. I was able to collaborate with my ELA teachers to really get propaganda set up. One of my English teachers at my school, Karen McCune, helped make up a propaganda handout for me, and it basically lists a variety of propaganda for the kids, and it kind of gives a brief summary for it. And I also collaborate with an English teacher at my school, Carrie Baker, who helps me teach the propaganda at the same time. She pretty much does some little posters in her classroom, and I help reinforce it with her standards along with social studies standards that the students will be learning at the same time, which is about World War II. And she's helped create this really great PowerPoint that really covers all different types of propaganda in there, and I've embedded it into my site with Google Docs so that all the kids can access it. And if you scroll down here, I have 3 separate PowerPoints. Each one is for my different grade. Again, my 8th graders had to convince people why using tobacco is bad, and they had to pick one type of propaganda for that. My 7th graders had to imagine that they were living in 1942, and their video is basically something typical of the propaganda posters of the time, such as, women in the workforce, or get people to recycle, or get men to lessen the services. So they had to make a video based on that. And with the 6th graders, they study energy in their science class as a science standard at the time, so they have to create a video that is going to help conserve people to save energy. The first step we do on the project is they each get a handout that covers the type of propaganda, and I show them a variety of commercials that I was able to get off of YouTube with the YouTube downloader. We watch the videos, and then they have to tell me what type of propaganda it is. If I have time, I like to take them to the computer lab, and they can make up a little poster on Microsoft Publisher. They need to pick a product. Perhaps they are the graphic designer, and they've been hired to convince people to buy a product, or they're the president of their own company, and they need to make up a convincing advertisement. But I leave it up to them. The following day, I reinforce what the propaganda is, and I always get, why we gotta do this is for art class, and I try to tell them, we're gonna use metaphors and symbols, convince people to buy into art, and we're using a different technique to communicate our messages across. And again, each class is a different one. I find a big thing, especially my 8th graders, they need to know, because around this age, a lot of them are beginning to experiment with tobacco at this time, so I like to know them. They need to know the facts, the dangers of tobacco use. Hopefully they can educate others with this video that smoking and dipping or anything else is terrible. And then I also talk about, editing techniques. We basically are making a film, and propaganda and editing kind of goes hand in hand. It's basically you're revealing only what you want them to know. And I'll try to show them a video that the students made, and I'm grading them basically on the fact that I want to see a variety of transitions. They have to have one convincing type of propaganda. I like the original music that Photostory comes with, and try to keep it around 30 seconds, so you don't need 2 minutes of flashing images and stuff. And here we have just a little bit about Photostory 3. It is very simple. What I love about it is just how easily Microsoft has every step guiding you one at a time. But the first thing is they want to get the pictures that they have downloaded into their slot already. All they have to do is click on import pictures, be the order that your movie will appear in. I also like to suggest that the kids have to alter at least one photo on there. What I like to do is go to edit, and you can go to add effect. There's nothing too fancy, but they give you a couple the kids really like, the fuse glow or the negative. I try to make them have at least one effect in there. Now that I have my pictures in, I could start typing stuff. And the typing of the message needs to reinforce their message of propaganda. And again, it is all about convincing me not to use tobacco products. And the next step is you can narrate. I can record a little message to go around with each slide if I would like. But the really fun thing is we're going to customize the motion with our transitions. The students are going to be a little comfortable with the transitions, probably from some PowerPoint experience, but I would like to see a different transition with each picture, or at least a variety of them. They could pick on the circle. So now I'm basically telling them the film's going to open up with a black screen, and then it's going to circle out to reveal my next picture. If I like that, I can hit save, and then I can hit my arrow going to the next picture. And speaking of music, that's our next step. This has a really cool thing is that it comes with a kind of like almost like a little built-in orchestra in here if you like. Of course, you could select your music, and it pretty much will take MP3 files or waves and stuff, and it'll play throughout the duration of the film. Only if you click on the first picture. If you click on this picture, it will start with a song here and then a song there, and I'll show you the difference. So right now, I have my Scarface theme starting from the first picture on out. But I'm going to click on this picture, and I'm going to tell it to create some music. I can adjust, I can pick my band, I can pick my genre. So let's say I'll just do something randomly. We want it to be of dance. We want to make it some hop. Tempo and intensity have been changed. You can hit play to preview what it sounds like, but I'm just going to hit OK. And now you can see that the color of the sound. And then for your final step, you get to pick the format of how you would like to make it. It automatically is going to adjust the file size and specifications of depending on what feature you like to use. Due to the fact that I show these on the TV, I normally pick the first option, which is your default one, and you hit next, and then it'll render it into a file. I was able to upload the videos to Vimeo. I have uploaded all these videos through Vimeo, a little site that's going to host all your videos for you. Once I have those, cut and paste the URL code of those videos, another website called Embedr. And with Embedr, I was able to showcase a lot of these videos on the site. And you could scroll through them if you like, and the other people can see them.